See if this works, guys. Please let me know if you're in the chat room. Let me know if the stream is working, because I'm still playing around with my settings and trying to get this smooth and make it so, you know, I have more than 3 frames per second. So what we're gonna try to do today is the stuff I was working on Wednesday and try to actually get it working this time, where I found a bug in how Rehype parses HTML. And Rehype, for those of you who don't know, is it's the machinery behind a lot of Gatsby and MDX and markdown processing in the modern era. What I'm trying to do is take my old WordPress blog and export it into Gatsby so that I can use it with MDX and modern technologies. Where I found a bug right now is that if you do that and you have code blocks that include JSX or HTML, that JSX or HTML gets blown out, basically just vanishes from your code blocks, which then makes your blogs look really bad and terrible. So I'm gonna try to fix that today with in the actual Rehype package. I've confirmed that the bug is in the HTML parsing, not in what I'm doing with the HTML with the AST afterwards. This could be an interesting blog after. So let's try remembering where I left off. I'm going to, and so far it says no dropped frames. That's great. So I'm gonna run yarn test. I think that's what we have. And yes, so yarn test is running, and it's gonna tell me that the basic tests are working and everything's fine, which should then let me write a failing test. Prettier declared what? Cannot find module ESLint plugin prettier. Okay, let's try running yarn first and get everything installed. Cool, 0 viewers, that's interesting. So ls, yeah, I'm also not really familiar with how Lerna works and all of that stuff, so that could be a problem. But let's see what happens here. So remark, format, whatever, that's not working. Failed to load plugin prettier. Why is that not getting installed? That's my question. Prettier. Okay, we've got prettier here. But what we don't have is, let's do git status. What did I change? Package log got changed. Okay. So I'm going to git checkout -b, and we're going to say fix Rehype code parsing. And I'm going to, let's run running. Hey Melveta, how's it going? And by the way, how's my stream today? Is it choppy? Right, so I'm gonna try to show why I need to do that and why it's not already there, but I'm gonna add it and hope that makes the error go away. Okay, yarn test again. Let's get that working. I want to get the tests actually running before I start adding failing tests and trying to make things break, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to tell whether I'm fixing a bug or whether I can even properly reproduce the bug. I was able to reproduce it elsewhere in like a more, what you would say, an entire project that's using this code, but I need to reproduce it as an actual test so that I have even a remote chance of getting this merged into upstream. Okay, so it seems to be working well so far. Nice. The tests are kind of slow, but they're running. That is a lot of tests. All right, well, I'm happy that the stream works well so far. Let's see, what can I do while the tests are running? So I think we're gonna be doing stuff in api.js. This is the test for the fixtures. Oh, we're gonna add a new test fixture. Now I remember. So we're gonna need to add a new example here. If you look at the tests, if you look at test fixtures, we have examples for all sorts of different situations. So I'm gonna try to take something from there, take an existing example and take the and figure out what's going on there. So okay, I seem to have 2% of dropped frames, which is not too bad. At least it's not saying that encoding is overloaded. Stuff and running, but that looks better. So I think that the HTML in SVG in HTML might be... That looks like it would be a good example to try, or SVG and HTML. Let's do... What should we try? Which one of these do you guys think looks like a good candidate to start with to reproduce my HTML in a code block kind of thing? Because if you look at, let me show you what the source code for this looks like. I prepared it in a different repository. So if we go to, yeah, come on, computer's starting to struggle. WordPress to markdown. Our computer's struggling because it's running a lot of things. Okay, so if we look here at this guy, so there will be an example here somewhere. What does it look like? Lorem paragraphs. And faker lorem paragraphs. So this code, there we go. See, it's wrapped in a div in the code block. Oh, nice. I'm happy the tutorial worked, Shakti. Is that how I pronounce your name, Shakti? I feel like I should do more actual tutorials on YouTube, but I kind of got lazy with them, to be honest. But yeah, if you look at this, here we have something that returns a div with then fake paragraphs in it. When that gets rendered into MDX or in Markdown, the divs are missing. So that's what I'm trying to fix today. And it looks like we now have fake passing tests, which is great. So now let's try to reproduce the example to, to see if we can make it fail. So I'm going to look at SVG in HTML. That looks promising. So we are going to need the index HTML, the index JSON, and the result HTML. So I'm going to look at how that works and see if I can make sense of it. So we're going to take Command O, look at the fixtures for, we said SVG in HTML. Where are you? SVG in HTML. SVG in HTML, we look at the result HTML, index JSON, and index HTML. So this is what we've got. Index JSON is what we want the entire, what we want to get parsed. Nice. Cool. I mean, I'm totally fine if people ask questions. Actually, I prefer that. But the live streams are mostly designed for me to kind of play around and experiment with things, and hopefully to be useful for others watching this. But they're not like tutorials, are they? Okay, so this is what the SVG in what the parsing does. If we look at packages, what do we have here? ls packages, we have Rehype and Rehype parse. What does Rehype parse do? Errors JSON, readme MD. Okay, so I don't really know where this gets parsed, but so I'm going to take this. We need it to basically parse itself nicely. So I'm going to copy the entire folder, cp my status, let's see, git commit -a-m. We're gonna say, what are we gonna say? We said we fixed had missing dependency. Okay, I don't know if that is the right thing to do, but now we're going to copy -r tests fixtures. If we look for HTML SVG in HTML, and we copy that to test fixtures, and we say HTML in code, that seems reasonable. HTML in code, HTML in pre, yeah, let's do in pre, because I think that'll make more sense. Then we open that stuff, and try to reproduce the I think what we're gonna do is manually make this work. So I'm gonna start with the result HTML, index HTML for HTML in pre, right? Is that the one? Result, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna take this stuff, we'll go into, where is it, index HTML, post this, prettier needs to not do stuff. So I'm gonna remove the formatting for this file, like that, and we are going to say, I'm actually gonna copy the example from here and say this, pre-length JavaScript. We're gonna put that in our HTML here, like that, and we're going to say that we have a, let's do a simple component that, just so that we have a simple component so that people understand why we're doing this. So we say const component equals la that returns a, what does it need? What is it going to return? It needs, let's wait, that says hello world. And now this div must not vanish from our code. So we take this and we go into result HTML. Where is it? Result HTML, index HTML. Oh fuck, I edited the wrong one. Okay, I need to not have both of them open. So I'm gonna close this stuff and say get status, and we are going to remove our changes to, okay, we didn't make any changes, so we open fixture HTML in pre index HTML pasta. So we have the let's say, what should we call this? It is going to be a React component. Okay, that's the title. Got that. Then we go into result HTML for the pre, and our result HTML needs to look like nicely formatted stuff, right? So we get HTML head. What did the result look like for this one? If we go to fixtures, SVG, where are you? SVG in HTML. So I'm kind of trying to follow the same pattern as the other tests so that I can try to reproduce it but break it as well. Oh, interesting. So we get a nice one in and a weird one out. Okay, that works for me. Formatting, prettier, come on, prettier, do the things. Prettier gets confused. So let's see, index HTML looks like what? We have doc type HTML, then we have the HTML file, the HTML tag, the head tag, which goes in like that, body pre, bam. Okay, so this should now look correct, and then we get the result, which looks like this. Yes, this is the right one. We take this title and we want the entire result to actually continue looking like this. So we take that, and now I'm going to run tests, and if I set this up correctly, the test is going to fail the JSON file of how. So we're going to say run test and see what happens when I. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I have only 20. Now, why didn't? And now it's up to 12 megs. Okay, so I need to work on my network. Why aren't the tests failing? That's not great. Rehype parse. Where does it go through? Okay, how the hell do these tests work? I need it to fail. Aha, it got in. Now I need to see if the error was in the right place. Format, build, test coverage, test types. Aha. Failed at the test coverage script. Okay. Where did we fail? Perfect. Did we fail at the right one? Yes. Nice. So we failed at exactly the correct place, which is a good sign because it means we have, well, we haven't really reproduced the error yet, but we've kind of reproduced the situation. So now I gotta go into index.json. I kept everything almost the same. So now I'm going to look for where instead of the SVG circle element, a React component, because we changed the text there. So this should still be the same. Basically, this is this JSON is basically a AST of the HTML document as parsed by the parser, which is kind of like writing a compiler for HTML. And I'm now looking for where the inputs are changed so that I have to update the outputs. And the start, does it start on line 4? Yes. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 starts on line 4 at why is my editor not showing me that anymore? Columns. Okay, so come on, column. What do I don't need to show this. Hide node debug auto attach extension. Okay, I need the lines and the columns. That seems way more useful. So we know that this is starting at line 4 column 12. Index.json says that it starts at line 4 column 12. Perfect. I don't know what the offset is for. Line 4 column 29, not line 4 column 38, because the text is shorter now. So we say 29. And this part is tedious because we're writing I don't think we can, at least not that I know of, and it's not in the contributing guidelines. But what we can find, so then we have a new line. I think a bunch of these are going to have the wrong values next to them, which is going to be a problem. But how can we help? Oh, I know how can we help. Let's see what the tests spit out. And maybe if we look at those tests, they can tell us what the compiler is seeing, and then we can look at what the compiler is seeing and take that to start our JSON. I think that'll help. I don't know if I explained that well, but we'll see how it goes. My computer says I have 10% dropped frames. Is that true? But at least it looks like my computer is not overheating too badly. Yeah. And how's my CPU usage? Let's see. Activity monitor, what am I doing? Okay. Kernel task, yeah, it seems to be working okay-ish. Very nice. Now let's see. Yarn tests, what did they say? Come on, computer. Run tests faster. Okay. Cool. Should stringify, yes. Aha. Nice. So what we can see here, I don't know how well you can see in here, but it looks like it did actually stringify incorrectly. so we've got that part, HTML in pre. So here is where it's looking at what it's getting, the AST. So, fuck, why does it not print the full AST? Also, how can I run just a single test? That would be so useful. Rehype test API JS, line 260, test API JS, line 260, string deep equal 3 node should parse fixture. So what we need to do here is print the entire thing. Yeah, I hope it gets better too, Shakti. Okay, so how do I print the entire thing here? Not okay, 129 should stringify HTML in pre. Yes, not okay, 128 should parse HTML in pre. So operator deep equal, that's this part. We are taking the tree and the node. Tree is JSON parse from the JSON, and node is the actual node that we have. What is host of node? What does this do? And why is it just running like this without? That's so weird. Okay, so I'm going to try to print the entire, a better sense of what the parser is seeing. Node deep console log, and I'm gonna just print, hope for the best, but we'll be able to see where it failed and then scroll through all of the output to this particular instance. Mostly because oh wait, actually we can say if fixture equals HTML in pre, then we can print everything. Yes. So we're gonna take this code from here, require util inspect console log require util dot inspect, we say node false null, fine, let's do true, like that. And now if I run the tests again, I should be able to get the entire AST that the parser is seeing when it looks at my fixture file, and that'll tell us whether, well, that'll tell us what it's seeing. Okay, so this is running. Let's see if anyone is saying anything about the stream on Twitter. Oh, did I? Great, so my Twitter isn't announcing streams anymore. That's annoying. Okay. And what is Restream doing? Am I not streaming everywhere? Is that what I'm messing up? Ah, yes, indeed. I am only streaming on Twitter, on YouTube, which is, let's try to enable everything else now and see if it works, because usually I stream on multiple platforms, but I totally forgot today. Okay, go back to, where was I? Right, Rehype, and let's see what this spits out. It hasn't failed yet, but it will fail soon. Okay, well, the stream is doing, it's actually doing surprisingly well considering the weather today. Come on. Ah, my hands are sweaty though. Let's see. Okay, why is this taking forever now? I feel like the tests were running faster 5 minutes ago. There we go. So these are now the fixtures. That was our failing test case, I think. Yep. Alright, so now let's see what the parser saw for our example HTML. So this is what the parser was seeing. I'm gonna take this JSON and put it in the thing, and the reason I'm putting this JSON in my in the fixtures file is because that gives me a better chance to catch only the problems that I wanted to expose, instead of trying to reconfigure the entire AST manually, which I think will work better. So why is prettier not working? Inferred, ignored, true, loaded module. Why is prettier 2? Why is the wrong version of prettier installed here? Okay, let's go into JSON lint and come on, JSON. Yeah, JSON is not going to lint this because JSON. I just need somebody to make it nice. Alright, so why is prettier? What is prettier complaining about? Loaded module, prettier, file info ignored, true, file is ignored. Why is the file ignored? Nice. So what are you working on these days, Shakti? How can I parse this into JSON? What if I make a new file somewhere and tell it to format itself? Will that help? Come on, VS Code, open. You don't have to be silent, Shakti. I'm just trying to mess around here and figure out how to make this work, but I'm always curious to hear your perspectives. Blah.json on desktop, come on, will that format it? I know you can do this, VS Code, you've done it before. There we go. Okay, VS Code managed to format this for me. With a little bit too many spaces, but that's fine. Okay, so we now have a valid JSON here. Now let's look for the actual code sample. Element body, then we have element pre with properties lang JavaScript. That is correct. And then here is where it gets silly. See, it's taking the first line and is considering that to be the value, but then it's taking the next one, so it's parsing each line individually. Nice. So what we need to do is change this so that it's using, oh nice. Yeah, Shakti, that's really cool. How long have you been a front-end developer for? So what the problem we have here, as I suspected, was that the what's it called? The parser is looking at this div as a separate input instead of as part of the same code. Alright. So what we need to do is first change the test case to say, hey, yo, we want the whole thing to be one piece of code. So I'm gonna take all of this, like that, and we're going to say that this is all a single value, like that, with a \n here and a \n here, and then no \n's there. Then we're going to put it on all on one line, because that's how the parser would see it, like that. Okay, and we say that the div doesn't exist, and then the div doesn't exist and that doesn't exist. All of this should be one child of that pre node. Now what we need to do is say that this is starting on line 7, column 28. I don't know what the offsets are. and then it ends on line 11, column 5, offset 199. That, because I'm basically taking what it thought was the last bit and changing it into and pasting it here, basically, and kind of cheating. So we take that. We've now told line 7. What is on line 7? Line 7. So we now have a pre. It has type text, and then we have this pre that ends on offset 205 on column 11. So line 11, column 10. Okay, that should be fine now. That's the and then we go onward to the next lines and all of that stuff. So that should still work. Now let's run this code again. Oh, nice. 8 months is a good time. So we run this code again. We should still get a failing test case, but a different failing, or well, it's going to fail in a different way. So then the next part we can do is go and look at trying to fix the bug instead of just reproducing the bug. And then I also have no idea how to use this before it gets merged into GitHub, into the main Rehype branches, which is gonna be fun. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. So, come on, computer, you can run the tests. Now, where will I actually go to debug this or test it? I don't really know. Okay, we've got that. It still failed. It failed where we were expecting it to fail. Right? Yes. It's saying that the two ASTs aren't matching, which is correct. So now I'm gonna go into figuring out what this thing is actually doing, or like where it's being parsed. So hast, where we rehype packages rehype, and then rehype stringify and rehype parse. I think rehype parse is the one that I'm looking at, because we take, where are the fixtures? Down here. Yes, this config, yeah. So this parses the actual file. Result HTML, node is parse of the file. The file is index HTML, yes. So we're gonna go into the parse function and try to see what it's doing. So I'm gonna open packages rehype parse. Look at rehype parse. What is that doing? Index.js. Let's go to rehype parse index.js, and then here we can try to figure out which one of these, where this needs to start changing. I'm gonna go rinse my hands because they're like clammy and wet, and then I'll be right back. Oh, and one thing I can do is actually commit this code. So git status, git commit -a-m, git add test fixtures HTML pre, and we say git commit -m, we say reproduce HTML in pre bug. All right. So that we've reproduced the bug. Now we're trying to fix it. So we're going to go down here and try to figure out how the hell this parsing stuff is working, which is, I think, gonna be confusing. So we have the parser, new parser 5 from parse 5. What? Be to fix this in the stringify function. Parse stringify. Let's see, packages, stringify. I want to see how Rehype stringify works. So it runs host util to HTML. Okay, so what does host util to HTML do? Basically, there's two sides of where we can fix this bug. One is, hey ES-Python, so I started the Periscope stream like half an hour later than YouTube because I forgot to flip some checkboxes. Basically, I'm trying to fix a bug in the Rehype HTML parser where if you have code like this, where you have HTML or JSX inside of a pre-tag, it spouts with this, but it returns code like this. So I'm trying to fix that, and I've now got a failing test case. Now I'm trying to figure out where that test case needs to actually be fixed. One option is that I can fix this at the parsing stage, which is what I think I'm trying now, where I changed the fixture for how this should be parsed as, hey, everything inside a pre-tag is supposed to be the same text node. You don't need to split it up into multiple nodes. The other one is to fix it in the stringifying stage, where you take everything that you have inside a pre, all of the children, and actually put them back. I don't think that's a good one. I think the better approach is to say, yo, everything inside a code tag is the same text node. So I'm trying to now figure out where to actually do that. But I have no idea how Rehype parser works, so this is gonna be fun. Okay, so it looks like under the hood we use something called parser 5. What? What is parser 5? So we take parser 5. Is that the one that has the bug? So column blah. So the problem with a lot of these AST parsing utilities is that it's all very much based on plugins, and it's just plugins upon plugins upon plugins, which makes it very difficult to figure out where to actually fix something, which bugs me. And it doesn't seem to be here. What does parser 5 do? Parser 5, let's see, where are you defined? Construction, merge options, tree adapter. Aha, so this is the actual parser that Rehype parse is using. Excuse me. So let's see, parse 5 lib parser. If we go look for parse 5, what kind of project is that? Maybe that. HTML parsing serialization toolset for Node.js. It's supposed to be HTML5 compliant. Ba-da-ba-bam. Issues. Add option to allow blah. Okie doke. Let's see, is there anything here about pre? Not iPre, but pre. White spaces in pre-tag, support an entry point. Okay. White spaces in pre-tag. So we can have... What? CAST Explorer. I have no idea what I've gotten myself into. 89 kilobytes upload. Body pre. Yeah. So I guess where this gets weird is that I'm not sure if this is something that should be fixed. Maybe it's a stringify error. Yeah, I think this is going to be easier to fix as a stringification error. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to update my JSON to say that the JSON should be the full thing as it was parsed, and we're going to fix it side, which I believe will be easier to do. So I have my, what happened with my mouse? So I have this part here, go to index JSON, paste it in, and run yarn test. Now we're going to get a slightly different error, which is going to say that the HTML was parsed correctly, but it was stringified incorrectly. Because I think that's going to be easier to fix, because we're just going to say, hey, all of the child nodes of a pre-tag should go back into the pre-tag. Don't, don't drop them. So that's what we're going to try. Let's see how it goes. First, I got to validate that the test is now, the first half of the test is going to pass. Come on, computer. Ba-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-da-da-dum. I got a text? Why did I get a text? Come on. Oh, I'm getting very hungry. Okay, so this is slow. Let's see. Okay, so it got to the fixtures. Now let's see. Okay, so it said it parsed it correctly. Great. Not okay. It did not stringify it correctly. And if we see, let's see, what was the actual... Wait. So if we look at what was expected and then what came out, it looks like that is actually correct. It preserved the hello world part. Let's see, new file. Yeah, it's still there. So what is not there? Okay, let's try putting this in the info. And wait a minute. So no formatting. Come on, paste. So we say this is a new line. This is a new line. This is a new line. Oh, but we need to go to the beginning of the line each time. So that, and then here, there, that should be there. Okay, so it looks like my bug might actually be somewhere else. That's frustrating. New line, delete that. New line, So let's see if that passes. So I'm gonna try that again, and if that passes, that means the bug is not in Rehype the way like I thought it was. Which then means I still don't know where my original bug is, and why is my parsing machinery dropping? Why is my parsing machinery dropping this stuff? But this was, if this is true, it has been a useful exercise. And I found out that I can actually, I figured out the OBS settings, which is a good. Alright, come on, computer. Let's see if you got this. Okay. Well, that was fun. Cool. So the tests are now passing, which means the original bug I was chasing is not actually there. So there's no bug to fix, which I think means this was a successful live code. We've identified that, contrary to what I hoped, this is not a compiler bug. It's a bug in somewhere of about how I'm using the compiler, and that was fun. Technically fixed the bug, does that count? Alright, so on that disappointing news, I'm going to stop the live stream because I have to go do some other work, and hopefully if everything goes just right, I will have my new Swizzes.com launched tomorrow-ish, which would be really exciting. So keep an eye out, and I'm glad we got the stream mostly working, and thanks everyone for watching. I will see you again most likely on Wednesday night. I'm gonna try to get back in the regular flow of streaming on Wednesdays and on Sundays. So thanks for watching. I will see you again next time.